reflection is bright. Hey garden friends, welcome back. We are going to do the Secret Cottage Garden tour for the first week of July. This is actually the end of that week, but when I took it, it was the beginning of the week. So yeah, it's time for me to video my gardens again, and they have changed. But anyways, let's get rolling on the Secret Cottage Garden tour for the first week of July. If you're new here, my name is Pam and I garden in Zone 8B in the mountains of Northern California, which presents its own challenges. So I know if I can grow a garden, so can you. Well, now it's time for our Secret Cottage Garden tour and the Primrose Garden tour for this first week of July. So we're going to start right here, where we left off on our Rose Cottage Garden tour. And look, I got my Safari Rose planted right here in front of this gorgeous clematis that's still blooming. Some have dropped and faded and then dropped, I should say. Now down here, these two boxwoods, I have to say, are fabulous. They're Green Mountain boxwoods. I gave them a really bad haircut, and look how they've recovered. They're looking gorgeous. Now I need to shape them, and I will do so towards the end of summer when it starts to cool off again, and they'll be just wonderful. But I have to say I've been very impressed with how they recovered. That rock there I'm going to put up there by my little pond. I still haven't gotten a video of that like as requested. The wire vine I'm now rethinking because the other one I had and this planted up there started to run. The runners came out under it and were going. I don't want that to get a foothold here because I don't know if it's the one that can be very damaging. But the way it was starting to run, I have my suspicions. I don't even remember where I got it. I think I got it from a friend. But if it was to go through the bottom of these pots and then start running, I would definitely remove it. But I like the way it drapes and is so pretty, and the little leaves. So that's my dilemma with that one. I'm sure I could find something beautiful to replace it. This rose is a champ. It just keeps on going. You will notice I have the bench moved. So now I'm getting things a little tidied up around here. And things are blooming. I got this pot put up into the wheelbarrow that was hidden. Old wheelbarrow. This has black-eyed Susans in it that just seeded themselves in that container, and I'm letting them go. Letting them have their way. Here is that vintage mini climber rose. That's doing beautiful. Starting to get the powdery mildew. As a vintage rose, it has its susceptibility to that. So I got to get my spray out. I have a rosemary clove oil spray that does fantastic with the powdery mildew. And I need to get it out here before this really takes over. The powdery mildew takes over. But, yep, I got to start tying it into the trellis there. This Roseanne geranium, doing beautiful down here. Now, this is some coffee grounds I got from a local coffee shop. And that was a hole that was developing there, or a divot in the ground, because there had been a large tree here and the roots are dissolving underground and it's sinking. So I get stuff like that to fill it up with. It's in the pathway. I'll put bark and stuff over it and that'll hide it. But here, let's back up. Here is where I've placed the bench for the moment. I can easily get around it, and behind it are the foxgloves. This is Monarda coming up, my Noble Antony rose, which will be putting on more blooms soon. But this little side area was just an underappreciated area, and now I'm working on it. I still haven't seeded that raised bed, but the tomatoes are hanging in there that were suffering. Now here's my compost bin. I like that it's easily accessible where I can bring my debris. I need to also bring some chicken litter and pop in it. So this is all free-seeded, reseeded, self-seeded feverfew. I had brought these seeds over here from a plant in the Secret Cottage Garden, and the larkspur's doing the thing I wanted it to here, and it's putting on more seed heads, so it will reseed itself here beautifully. I told you this Demitasse rose would be starting to put on its buds. It's looking gorgeous. Many more buds coming, but this blooms like this all summer. These tiny or smaller little flowers. It's hardy. Hail just keeps on plugging. My Japanese maple is doing beautiful here. Now, I saw the most gorgeous crepe myrtle tree at a local garden center. I didn't buy it because I thought, you know what? I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it. And then I was talking to my husband about it because I couldn't help but rave on it. And he said, why don't you plant it right here at the corner of the property? As it grows up, it will block the view. I mean, not that that's a totally bad view, but instead of looking out at the road, I would look at a beautiful crepe myrtle. And I thought, oh, I have to go back and get that tree. So, yeah, hopefully they still have it. They are so gorgeous. I have a feeling they're going to sell quick. So back here, look at all those larkspurs. Larkspur, there's the pink and the purple, the feverfew. Yeah, that is all self-seeded, so it's like free plants. There's my Noble Anthony. See, that's one rosebud there. And that's the beautiful roses it gets. It had one big flush of blooms, and it's going to put out some more. Now, this little planter, see, it's like a quarter of a barrel. I don't know what I'm going to put in it. I filled it with the soil, put the irrigation hose on it, and now I get to fill it with some pretty flowers that I'll enjoy just walking over here. So let's walk on back around to the Secret Cottage Garden. And this is the poor boxwood I haven't done anything with. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. My favorite shovel, one of them, this is called a root slayer. If you need to dig something out, that is the ticket. Look at this. This is my amaryllis I had put in the basement to force a rebloom. By the time I remembered it and brought it out, I just put it out here because I usually summer my amaryllis out here. And they do fantastic right here. It's right where I could see them. I could take care of them. I still haven't planted my candy corn spireas, but they are so pretty. Look at those pink blooms. I don't have my fountain going. I bet you my mountain chickadees are upset. I'm going to turn that on for them. So there, it's getting going. They come and they bathe on the lips of that. You'll see 3 of them all in a row taking a bath in that. And it's just fun to watch them. So here is the entrance to the Secret Cottage Garden. Now look, this is that project we did together in a video, and it's just sheer summer. Just gorgeous. I need to deadhead this, but every time I walk by this, it is the effect I wanted, everything. I just love that. Love, love, love it. Look at the sedum down here. Isn't that a pretty sedum? I put that in. I got a 6-pack of that up at the Ace Garden Center here, and I am thrilled with it. It is doing so beautiful, and it's on either side of the path. Look at my Coco Loco roses are still blooming. My volunteer black-eyed Susan. I have lots of self-seeded flowers in my garden and gardens, and I love them all. Look at these hostas. Aren't they doing gorgeous filling in here in the shade garden? I absolutely love them. The elephant ears, I didn't think they would make it when I transplanted them, but look at that one's coming up. So they did. They're tougher than I thought. I just got to wait and see if the gophers will eat them over winter. Look over here. My Princess Alexandra of Kent rose. Isn't that beautiful? I love that color. Now, the only thing I have to say is the flowers don't hold very long. They're very short-lived once they bloom. And behind this Japanese maple, I'm going to get a nice pretty pot for this, is the hydrangeas I'm trying to save. These are Bobo hydrangeas. And I still haven't figured out the weird leaf structure. You see how that's real spiky? And whereas that one is not. I don't know if that could be a fungus or whatever. I looked it up, and a lot of people just said it was stress, but I don't know. That's very odd. Very odd indeed. So Yeah, I have my other Japanese maple here. These Japanese maples I grew from seed that I collected from a local winery, and just started them. So these are some of those bargain rack plants you get at Lowe's, and they are summer crush hydrangeas. And what I love about them is even though they went through that hard freeze and it froze them back, they're blooming. So those are the kind of big leaf hydrangeas I can grow. And then look at that big old gnarly spider. Ooh. Anyways, he's good for the garden. Now this is a regular, I think, big leaf hydrangea, but it did come through the freeze very well. It was in too sunny of a spot. You see how it got scorched? So I moved it over here. Or that could be my endless summer. I had an endless summer hydrangea. Now my strawberries and petunias along here are just doing gorgeous. Gorgeous. Of course, a self-seeded larkspur. I've got a mosquito. I don't know why the mosquitoes try to go for my camera when I'm out here. That poppy ended up being red. Remember, I pointed it out last week, and I said it's probably going to be red. The red ones seem to be reseeding themselves more readily than any others. And of course, even though it's rather chilly, Mr. B is having a time there. These poppies, these type poppies, they just are filled with bees all the time. The circle garden. Now this week, I have not been able to get out here much. Yeah, lots of other projects going on, but it's okay. I garden for the enjoyment, not for perfection or picture-perfect gardens. I look on Instagram for those because it's not here. But I garden for the sheer enjoyment of it, the stress relief. I'm not here to sell you garden plans. For the stress relief and all of that, and that's what I gain from it. Look at these. These are just doing beautiful. I'm loving those. Here's another one of my Japanese maples I grew from seed. Isn't this a gorgeous one? The colors are just amazing. The new growth. And then that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, and the plan. I love it when a plan comes together. My HF Young is blooming up there on the tool shed. This is my blueberry muffin viburnum. It's really taken off this year. I want to keep it more compact, or I should say not a big bushy thing, more tree-like. So I've got to prune up some more limbs. My rose back there, that's Dr. Huey. It was the stock or the base of a grafted rose that I had to take out, and it left a piece, and now it's growing behind the tool shed. It's actually not bad looking back there, but I don't want it coming through to this side. So more self-seeded larkspur. This is something I let seed itself all over, and then I just edit or pull out what I don't want. So it can come up where it will. Look at that. Lily's about to bloom, pretty in orange. Put the dahlias down there. The Vibinia bonariensis, it took a licking when I transplanted those hydrangeas, and so I'm going to either prop it up, support it, or I'm going to pull it out. Oh, here's a junco. He's coming for the birdseed. Oh, there was a little female. I didn't know it was down in there. Yeah, they often visit for the birdseed. You want some? I'll go away in a minute. And then I have several water sources throughout the garden. So, yep. And here is the Daisy May daisy that I bought. I wanted to test. They said they bloom longer than standard Shasta daisies you grow from seed. And so I was testing it out. So this is the Daisy May daisy. And over here, I have one of my crazy daisies. So look at this bee on here. There we go. It's early morning, so you can hear my chickens are announcing they're laying their eggs. Now here is my rose campion, but this one's called oculata, and it's white. And isn't that, this thing readily reseeds as well, and I edit. But, you know, with a cottage garden, that's how it makes it easy. And look at down there. This is a Proven Winners. This is a Monarda. I think it's called Pardon My Purple. But it stays shorter, and that was one. And it doesn't run from runners, underground runners, like the others that I have. So this foxglove needs to be pruned back and or taken out. It's ended its lifespan as far as being in this garden. I have to say this Junior Walker's Lowe's Junior Nepeta has just been outstanding. It's leaning over into the path. I can prop it up a little bit and keep it a little tidier, and or I can prune back what's leaning back, and it will rebloom. It will rebloom. It might encourage more blooms. And there's Garden Katie. No telling what she's after. What's down there, Katie, that you're messing with? As long as she's not got any butterflies or anything. Okay, so it's time for Patricia here and Orion to get kind of a prune. Because you see they're going to seed readily and not readily, but they're going to seed and looking a little rangy, so we will tidy them up. They will continue to bloom and be beautiful. My apricot, my Sutton's apricot foxglove is nearly done. I will let that reseed in here, but look at those dusky maiden delphiniums. I got those from Dowdswell Delphinium. Well, it's not called Dowdswell anymore, I don't think. I think it's called New Zealand delphiniums. That's where I got the seeds from, and I grew those. You can also pick up the 4-inch pots at Annie's Annuals, usually. I've seen them there. Now my iceberg rose. It is looking wild and crazy. I was trying to train it along the fence a little bit, but oh, look, it's a mountain chickadee. Let me see if I can point you over there to see it. See it? Yeah. Getting all kinds of goodies. Rachel, leave the bird alone. So here is, this one is called Kiss of Desire. Rose. I need a deadhead. It's been blooming away. Look, I got lots more buds. And my iceberg. Now, again, someone asked me, what do I fertilize my roses with? I use the Eco Organic on my roses, especially my container roses, because the nutrients flush out so much faster with a consistent watering that you need to do with container roses. So I'll put the link in the description box below. It works fabulous, and it works for everything. You do not need separate fertilizers for things. You can just use one size fits all. Look at this, my Colette Rose is finally being able to perform. The poor thing really didn't come through that one freeze very well. It's looking really rough, but she's trying to flower, which is good. So I will give her a revamping prune this fall and take out a lot of that gnarly damaged stuff. I just didn't want to do it right now because I wanted to enjoy some blooms from her. Then look at these delphiniums. I need to tie this one up, but this one is a nice soft shade of lavender. This is my, what I call a Glea daisy, or I shouldn't say I call it, it's called an Glea daisy. A friend gave it to me and I've divided it and I have it in 3 places in my gardens. And this one is really, my friend nicknamed it Shaggy Maggie because it is so ruffly and full. And I saw some, Monrovia had a new one out. I can't remember what it was. It was something like Crazy something, or, oh, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up and share it with you. But they had one very similar to it. Here is a volunteer echinacea. I keep expecting it to disappear. One year the gophers ate all my echinaceas. And a sweet pea. You know, my sweet peas didn't do well this year. I don't know what it was. In fact, I had some right down here and I don't see them anywhere. It could be slugs or the little pill bugs. I've had a struggle with those, and I haven't been keeping up with putting out my first Saturday lime. Look at that Nicotiana. That is a volunteer from the plants that were here last year. I love volunteer plants. They seem to grow the best. the hardiest in the garden. Here's two of my, I did the tip cuttings of the salvia, and that's two of those, doing beautiful. This is another Nicotiana. I don't know what color. We'll see. We'll see what it is. So we'll look back this way, past the bench. I told you last time I had an idea for this area, and been talking to my husband about it and how we'll accomplish it, and it should be fun. Should be fun. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous this morning? Just beautiful. Still debating on the pathway. I could just fill it with gravel between the flagstones. I had wanted to put ground covers that would make it green. And I think I'm getting impatient, but I should just plow through because I have the 6-packs. I have other ground covers. It's just that until it gets established, I have to provide water for it. So down here, this is the rose that I'm going to plant in a planter in front of my greenhouse. This is America. Isn't that color just amazing? I love it. And this is one of my overwintered geraniums. I need to give it a pretty pot. Now my lilies, these are Asiatic lilies, are doing gorgeous. I have more over there. And I have them still in pots because I didn't want the gophers to eat them. This Silene red campion, not rose, is amazing. It started later than the other one. The other one I've already deadheaded. And these have been blooming for, well, let me see, I'll have to check my videos, but since, or at least 6 weeks. So it's amazing when you get such a long bloom time, because usually you get the little blooms in spring and then others take over in summer. Oh, that's a grosbeak over there that's making that song. Beautiful bird. Can you hear it? He's up there. He's getting to the feeder. I just was able to refill my feeder, and I had run out of seed, and so now the birds are all discovering it's back. This is 16 Candles, Climbing Rose. I train it along that lattice. And look at this is one of those dwarf Achilles or yarrow. I love it because it doesn't get so tall and then flop. It's in here. This is my James Galway rose, which I need to deadhead, cut back, and feed for secondary bloom. Now here's a hose that needs, I've got some of the retractable hoses. I'm going to put one back here so I don't have to mess with pulling this hose around. But here's another clutch of reseeded larkspur. I had to work around this all winter so I wouldn't crush it going down to the chicken pen because I knew it was going to do this and just be gorgeous. Now it's lavender that it's with. You see the lavender here? And that's phenomenal. But look down there. Look at this. Now this is the path to the chicken pen, and I planted these this last winter. I spread the seeds along this wall, and there's more here. I did a different color too. So far the Lauren's grape is what has come up, and isn't that just the most gorgeous color? Beautiful, and I love it with the black-eyed Susan. I transplanted this here. I didn't think it would live. They don't like to be transplanted very well, especially when I dig them up out of the ground. So here's my tomato. This is Early Girl. Look down there. I've got tomatoes. I just planted one of these in my Vigo tomato planter, and I did a video of it, and I'll share it with you. I think I'm really going to like them up on my deck. And here, this is a purple cherry tomato. It's taking its time getting going. This is my Cecile Brunner climber, and it's going wild. I think, is Cecile Brunner really a rambler? I'm not sure. But yeah, it used to climb up the chicken house and went across the top here, and it was beautiful. But I want to paint. We need to paint the chicken house and fix the windows, so that's why it's pulled down. And so here's some more. I had sprinkled more poppies over in this bed just because I had extra, and I thought, oh, that'll be nice over there. So we'll see what I get. Like I said, I did have variety. Good morning, girls. So my lemony lace. Isn't that gorgeous, the lemony lace? Black not black, elderberry. Yeah, doing beautiful. I had to stake it up. The snow had smushed it down, and we got in May, so distorted it. But the backside of the delphiniums, I've got my pink wave petunias here that I planted in these pots. And look at my tomatoes in here. Now I need to change up because that is what I'm going to train them up is too close to the wall. Last year we didn't have the plastic panels. So I'm going to have to put like a hook out so it comes away from the plastic panels, and then I weave the tomato plants in and out of it, and it makes them really easy. I did that last year. It worked great. So all my rose starts that I need to get potted up over here. Look at these are a bunch of morning glories coming up. I don't want them in here, so these will just get pulled. But there is my cucumber, and I didn't think the other one was going to sprout, but there it is. It did. These are the little, they're called Persian, and they're the ones called baby fingers, or because they're little, and they stay little. So I'm not sure that is going to take. Those are looking a little brown, so I think those were the ones I did of, oh, my grandmother's hat. Yeah, they're not going to make it. But these did fine, and those are doing fine. So, and this is black-eyed Susan vine. I put the seeds out here. It looks like one's going. We'll see. I was surprised to find that they take like 14 days to germinate. So we're slowly getting things going. My peppers in there, they're just taking their sweet time. I have a hard time growing peppers because we have such cool nights, and they prefer it warm all the time. So, yep, everything's still working on it. That area there, I started a video on me starting on the cleanup. I still need to finish it up. And this next week, it's going to get blistering hot. Even here, it's going to get up to nearly 100, which is really hot for here. Getting up to 90 is usually the hottest during the summer. But that, my friends, is the Secret Cottage Garden on this first week of July. It's always changing. More lilies will be blooming next week, and who knows what else. So, I hope you enjoyed visiting the Secret Cottage Garden on this gorgeous morning. So, I hope you enjoyed that tour. The next one, I think I might do something a little bit different. I'm not sure, but it may be different. But I've got so much coming up. The Vigo Garden tomato planters, I am loving them. It is like 97 today out here. I am melting, but I can throw a sheet over the top of the support and I can shade them, and the tomatoes are doing great. Having that consistent water from it being self-watering is great. I will have a project to share with you later of the ones in the bespoke greenhouse. I have tomatoes growing in there, so that will be coming up. I love telling you things that are coming up. I got in a new order of irises from Sutton's. I forgot I even ordered them. Do you ever do that? Anyways, they're beautiful colors, but I've got to figure out a way to keep the gophers from eating them. I have lost several that I absolutely love, several colors. And the gophers, they have found them and they just seem to love them, and now they are their main target. So I will figure out something, because irises here increase quickly. So if I put them in a cage, they'd be kind of constricted. So I'm not sure that would work. So I'm trying to figure out an idea, maybe putting some wire underneath them like a big bowl, or something like that, because the gophers come up from underneath. So, and I have these big pigeons that scare away all my little songbirds from their cage, from their feeder. But see, I got this one with the cage, and after I'd ordered this, a friend of mine, I went to see her garden. That will be coming up. That's a very interesting garden. She's a whiz at growing vegetables. And yeah, and on a hillside, and just, it's very inspiring to see. And she's in a totally warmer zone than me, in an area that, yeah, she's already getting tomatoes, and she gave me some. But she gave me a bird feeder like this, except it's bigger. And I already hung it up, and it's doing the job of keeping the bigger birds from scaring off the little birds, because the bigger birds can't get to the seed. So, oh, I did want to show you something. I keep changing my mind of where I'm going to put it, but can you see this back here? Look at this. I got me a crepe myrtle, and this color of purple is just so beautiful. This one stays smaller, 10 to 12 feet. I have two ideas. I had thought of putting it at the corner of my property where it could grow up and block the street view. And then I saw a spot in the very back, Secret Cottage Garden, where I think it would be just as beautiful there too. So, yeah, I don't know which place I'm going to put it. I think it would do better in the Secret Cottage Garden, just because I could take care of it easier until I prepare that back there, as I do the back lane garden. That's a new garden I'm thinking on and doing. So yes, I create more than I can take care of, but that's just fun for me. So I don't care if it looks a little messy. The back lane garden is going to be a garden of things I have found that do great here. I'm going to propagate them. I'm going to put them back there. If there's something that's in a spot and it's too big for it, I'll dig it up, move it back there. In the artist garden, the wedding candles, verbascum, is much too huge. They love it there. It must be rich soil. They have gone crazy. In other places in my garden beds, they're not that bulky. So I just think it's that spot. So yeah, I'm going to move them. And if they don't make it, that's okay. I grow them from seed, $4, $3 packet of seeds, and I got several others. So if they don't make it through the move, I'm okay with that. But I will move them to the back hillside. I do have irrigation back there. So all of that's coming up. I also have some more roses that came in. I have a big barrel that I want to put some of them in, and all of that. So yes, and my rose care video is coming up. And I'm also going to try to do some propagation of different things in a different way than I've ever tried before. So we'll see how well I do at that. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just melting. Anyways, it's dripping down my face. It's very hot here in California this week. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed all of that and all that's coming up, because I love to share it. So I'll see you in my next video.